Big noon kickoff. So this is how we will tee off the Saturday, the first Saturday of college football, real one, where it's like chock full of games. We had a week, last
Games
week
on
with
American
Farmageddon.
soil. Yeah.
Games on American soil. There were some last week, but still. First full college football weekend is the defending champion, Ohio State, versus the preseason number 1 team, Texas. Ohio State is favored in this game by 1.5.
Yep.
Texas has to go to Ohio State. It's going to be in the shoe. Both teams are trotting out new, fresh quarterbacks. We saw Arch start a couple games last year, but doesn't have a ton of snaps under his belt, just right around 100. And then Julian Sayin has played almost none, but he at least gets the benefit of it being at home. How big of a factor do you think the shoe is going to be in this game?
I think it's going to be a very large factor. Ohio State, are they up there? Are they one of the stadiums that has 100,000, or are they just below that?
You're well over 100,000.
Okay.
I think it's almost at 110.
Okay, so they're one of the larger stadiums in college football. I think it's going to be a huge part, and especially, I think Arch Manning is one of those things where we haven't seen him. JP, you talk about this all the time with guys like Bryce Underwood and other young guys. Like, I need to see it in the big moments. We haven't really seen Arch Manning in the big moments. We've seen him come in some garbage time situations. We've seen him come in when Quinn Ewers was hurt, but we haven't seen him go toe-to-toe with one of the most talented teams in college football. I think that it's going to play a big part, but I think that I think it'll be more interesting to see how Julian Sayin performs. And like you said, he does have the advantage of playing at home, but he is as big a question mark as Arch Manning is because we haven't seen him play more than 100 snaps. Sayin is much more of a question mark.
Agreed.
And he was in a QB battle until a week and a half ago, with a couple of the guys there. They had a 2 or 3 way QB battle, depending on who you listen to. So I think seeing how he comes out and plays, if he comes out and plays poorly through the first half, do we see a like when Alabama benched their quarterback in like the first game, it was against South Florida. Like we've seen teams come out and the quarterback plays poorly in the first half, and they just immediately just bench him for the other 5-stars sitting on the bench. So how much of a leash does Sayin have before he gets benched for a backup? I think that'll be interesting to see. But that is like the most important aspect of this game is the duel of the two. As much as Clemson and LSU was a duel of 2 quarterbacks who are Heisman frontrunners, this is a duel of 2 quarterbacks who we just haven't seen enough to know about.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the quarterbacks do matter, but I honestly think it's going to be a lot about who can help their quarterback out the most and who can give their quarterback the easiest path to victory, whether it's, getting the run game going. I am very interested for Ohio State. They lost like 9 offensive starters. So what's that identity going to be off rip? Can they just hit the ground running against a great Texas defense? Is that O-line that lost key pieces going to be able to protect Sayin? I love how you've written that for basically every quarterback. It's like key to the game, protect said quarterback.
Yeah.
But that's going to be huge. Like I said, can they get their run game going and take some pressure off Sayin? Because no matter what I think about Sayin's long-term projection, it's his first start against Texas. I'll tell you right now, if you just can't run the ball and he has to throw the ball 30-plus times, you're not going to win this game. Like you're not. I mean, maybe he is the next coming of Jesus, but like he's not. So
I don't think he's shown that on tape.
Correct.
And so for me, it's a huge concern because of what they lost in the offensive line, losing Josh Simmons and Donovan Jackson, who are both first-round picks. They like their depth at offensive line, but they don't think anyone can play at an elite level right now, and that's a huge issue considering the guys that Texas has in Colin Simmons and Ethan Burke. Those guys can get after the passer, and I think they're going to be productive at doing that. And so that's where my concern for Julian Sayin is. I don't think while Texas's secondary is really good, I think Ohio State's got the receivers that they will still find openings. And so I don't think it's necessarily like, Julian Sayin has to make tight window throws.
no.
Because I don't think even anyone on Texas can guard Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate.
They did it in the playoff game.
Or Max Clare for an extended period of time. And so I don't think Sayin has to make a ton of big throws.
Yeah, it's just, is he still standing when those wide receivers are open?
I think it's, is he still standing? Can they protect him? And for him, it's the reason I brought up like him being potentially benched for Tavian St. Clair is because I don't know his decision making yet. I don't know if he's there yet. Does he throw good throws? Does he put himself in the right spots? Does he protect the football? We don't know that yet. He'll be tested immediately against this Texas defense. And so that's where I think we could see a spot where he could get benched for Tavian St. Clair going into the second half if he has a really bad pick or really bad 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
Those can really, especially fumbles, with how good the pass rush should be against him. That's where my concern is for Julian. I don't think he'll be forced into too many interceptions where it was just him. I think it's the pass rush that really could affect him.
I think one of my big, going off of that and protecting the quarterback, one of the big keys to the game for me is how much is Colin Simmons' aura, right? He's the one that posted the photo of saying. And so that set him up. If he gets a sack or 2, if he gets pressure to the quarterback, I mean, that's just incredible aura. But if he gets shut down after posting that photo, that's bad. That looks really bad. That's like potential undrafted reasoning right there. Like, that's a huge deal.
Got to deliver. There's been shots fired from both sides at this point. And I do want to say in Sayan's defense, as we've kind of dogged him here, he won a quarterback battle at a high-profile school in Ohio State. He clearly has some tools. We just haven't seen it yet, and this is a terrible place to have to play your first game and try and learn and grow as a starter. So that's kind of where we push back is he did something right to win the job because the guys behind him are also so talented, but we just don't know. And then pivoting to the Texas offense, they also lost some pieces, and we haven't seen a ton from Arch. But I feel a lot more comfortable, even a little bit we've seen from Arch, about his decision-making and his ability to make the right throws, push it downfield when there's opportunities. He likes to be aggressive downfield, and then also using his legs when it's needed. And even the legs component is huge here that he has over Sayan when it comes. If stuff starts getting dicey, he can trust his legs. Sayan necessarily can't. What do y'all think we see from Arch in his first game against a ranked team?
I didn't realize this was his first game against a ranked
Well,
team.
starting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's only played UL Monroe and the Bulldogs as a starter.
Yeah. I think that. So what are the weapons like? We don't have any of those in the key players. They've got the transfer
Jamie
from
French,
Stanford.
Ryan Wingo.
Yes.
Not Brian Wisco, but DeAndre Moore and then Emmett Mosley, the transfer. They
love their tight end.
They
too,
love
that
their
transfer.
tight end, Jack Andrews.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then Quintrevion Wisner, who was really productive at the end of last season, especially against A&M.
Yeah.
And then C.J. Baxter might play in some capacity week 1. It's kind of not a guarantee coming off an ACL tear. He was a big 5-star. They thought he was going to be the second B. John Robinson.
He was going to be RB1 last year.
Yes.
Before he got hurt. That's how much they like him. And it's like the guys behind him. I mean, one of them got drafted, and then Wisner was great.
I don't think weapons is an issue at all. In fact, the weapons are arguably just as good as they were last year.
Yeah.
And that's losing Matthew Golden. That's losing Gunnar Helm. So I don't think that's necessarily an issue. I think the issue for Texas that I'm concerned about is, again, offensive line play. They lose 3 guys to the draft. Only 1 starter from last year will start this year for the Longhorns in right guard DJ Campbell, but they lose Kelvin Banks, Saints legend, and then they lost Cameron Williams and Hayden Connor. And so I'm concerned immediately, how will they stand to the Ohio State pass rush, which lost pieces, of course, there. But you don't know the names yet, but you will. Caden Curry, Ethan Burke. I think they've got a really good chance that if they play well on Saturday, Ohio State will win because they're going to get a chance against this Texas offensive line to get after Arch. The thing is, I think Arch is going to be really capable at escaping that.
You're going to feed him to the ground.
That is something I really want to see at Arch is, does he have that in his game of, man, we can't even get to him, but it doesn't mean we got him.
Sure. That's a good point because we've seen him in like the designed run stuff, and he looks great there, but that doesn't always translate to escaping sacks, breaking sacks, sliding up in the pocket, taking off, drop, sees the hole, takes off, stuff like that. So that's a great point. Ohio State's favored by 1.5. I'm going to take Texas, sadly, to win this game. The offensive line concern for Texas is fair, but I think there's a lot more questions I have about Ohio State, so I'm going to take the team that I know more about and feel better about to win this game and go get it done on the road.
I'm going to pick Ohio State to cover which also means win. I was about to say win
Yeah.
and cover, but if they cover, they win. I'm going to pick Ohio State to cover. I do think that the home field advantage is going to be very helpful. Seeing Arch Manning in his first top 25 matchup, you say it's tough for Sayan. This is a tough game to start. This is a tough first top 25 matchup for Arch because against UL Monroe and Mississippi State, let's be honest, that was comparable to practice.
Dang.
Yes, it was, full contact and everything, but neither of those teams was anything like you're going to be seeing facing Caleb Downs and Jermaine Matthews and Davison Igbinosun. It's just going to be an entirely different game for Arch. I do think he's going to play well, but I don't see him leading this team to victory. I think Ohio State's talent on defense is going to be a little bit too much. I think Ohio State's going to cover.
I've been on the fence about this for weeks, but I think I'm taking the Buckeyes. I just think they have the guys that can take over the game. Texas has them as well, but Jeremiah Smith I think is going to be productive. Caleb Downs I think is going to be impactful. We didn't even say his name until just now.
It's a bit of a disservice from
did
us.
I not? I just said it.
But you did just
But
say
it took us. It took us
Yeah.
like 8,
It took
10
us
minutes
until
to
we
get
were
here.
making the pick of the game.
Exactly. I think he'll be impactful in this game. And then I wrote the names down because I think they are going to be the guys that win the game for Ohio State, and that's Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson Jr. They're two pass rushers. I think those guys are going to get after the quarterback and get after Arch, and I think they have a good chance to impact this game. I'm taking the Buckeyes. I think they'll win by a field goal. I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be more high scoring than people think, though. I don't think this is going to be the big defensive battle. I think it's going to be a lot of trading punches. So give me the Buckeyes 31-27.